What's up, SnowTrax Nation? Luke here, bringing you guys another 2025 walk around. This time it is on Arctic Cat's ZR600. Now, I refer to this as a base model, but the name is simply ZR600 with no other acronyms after it. This is the most basic package you can get in a ZR600, so it is the base model, and that's how I'm going to keep referring to it because it keeps things straight in my mind. Now, obviously, this is built on the Catalyst platform, which has no changes from the higher-end ZR600s like the Limited or the RXC. It is the very same platform, so there's no downgrades there. Really, there aren't that many downgrades at all taking the base model. In fact, I can only think of maybe one or two, and we'll get to that. Ergonomically, it's identical, which is to say that it has the best ergonomics in the industry, according to me. You've got standard Arctic Cat skis, which have worked very good on this platform. Obviously, the front suspension is exactly the same as all the other Catalyst front suspensions. This one has a 137-inch slide action skid frame in the back, which again is the same as all the other ZR Catalyst platform sleds. There really, again, aren't that many things that are different. I really like things like the brake. This has got the Hayes brake, and this is a fantastic brake. I would put this as a close second in the industry right now in terms of braking performance. You get switchgear that's easy to use. I like this switchgear because it has separate hand and thumb warmer controls and a rocker switch. It's very easy to use. I can find it with my thumb. I can see it on the gauge. Totally simple. This sled only comes in one color, which is all black, just like you see here. The options you can pick for this sled are only 600 or 858 and 137 or 129. Those are your options in base model ZR. So that's really all you get to choose from. What is different between this and a higher end model? What is a ZR600 base model? Well, basically, it's a shock package and a gauge. That, as far as I can tell, that's really it. These shocks, though, are actually pretty nice shocks, where some other of its competition have given you just steel-bodied, preload adjustable only with a snail cam adjuster shocks. These are aluminum-bodied, threaded bodies, rebuildable shocks, and they're actually really, really good quality. So in terms of downgrades, the only thing you're losing with this package is the ability to adjust compression or rebound, depending on which model you're comparing it to. And that's not really a huge deal because Arctic Cat has done a fantastic job of tuning these shocks to give you an excellent ride in nearly every condition. I'm a big boy, and even these work perfect for me. So I'm really impressed overall with how this lower end shock package performs. If you're this kind of buyer, if you're looking to save some money, you don't have a lot to complain about. The one area I will say though that is a downgrade is the gauge. This isn't obviously the Garmin 8-inch gauge. It's also not the traditional dual screen gauge that the more mid-level models of the Catalyst got and all models last year got. This is another gauge below that. It's quite small. It has information that's relatively easy to read, doesn't have a ton of features. It's fine. It's just, it seems like a long way down when you've got the dual screen gauge that they've had forever and it's got to be paid for over and over again. I would have liked to have seen that. The competition, some of this sled's competition has much improved gauges, so that's one thing that I'm going to complain about. But again, it works fine, so it's not like it doesn't function fine. It's just not that impressive, I guess. This one gets a tether, and it actually also comes with a heated visor outlet. That's really nice. It has electric start. It has a Ripsaw 2 track in the back, which is a pretty good track and is pretty impressive. Of course, I mentioned that this has the slide action skid frame. And I would say that's one of the things Arctic Cat really needs to address here in the near future. This Catalyst platform is fantastic and the front end works excellent. I think the overall sled is being slightly let down by this slide action skid frame. It's really the only part of the sled that wasn't specifically designed for this chassis. The motors, the 858 motor, you know, everything else was designed as a platform, but this came from previous models. And I think that there's a better way to do it. I definitely think that Arctic Cat can step up. They know suspension really well, and I think this could have an improvement. The real problem with it is the front arm. It just tends to bottom the front arm really hard. And when you're talking about a sled like this with a lower end shock package, that becomes even more exaggerated. Now, Obviously, somebody who's buying this sled probably isn't going to be ditch banging it at 60 miles an hour or hitting massive jumps. So if you're just going to ride it like normal people ride, the skid frame works pretty good. The front suspension works excellent. The same shocks are in the back end here, aluminum bodied, so that shock package gets carried all the way around. If you're looking here with me, you'll notice these accessory mounting plates. These are included even on the base model ZR. That is fantastic. That's awesome. Just another example of how this sled really isn't that different from, say, the limited model. Moving around the sled, we've got the seat is the same seat. I really like Arctic Cat's seat here with this little kick up on the back. When you're accelerating, when you're going through the bumps, I can actually feel that my butt kind of catches on this little kick, and it works really well to kind of hold you in the sled. Again, I have absolutely nothing bad to say about the ergonomics of this snowmobile. I love them front to back. I love the handlebars. I like the grips. The brake lever is excellent, very comfortable. I like when you hang off the side of this sled, you can still get to the brake lever with your finger. Everything about the ergonomics here is phenomenal. This sled also has the little tiny storage bin up here in front of the gauge. There's not a lot you're going to be able to put in there, but you could put some stuff in there, and it does get some heat from the engine compartment that's going to keep whatever's in there slightly warm, so that's nice. The headlight is the same headlight as all Catalyst models, to say that it has the cool accent and is immediately recognizable. When you're coming down the trail, you see a Catalyst, you know what it is coming at you. That's cool. This comes with a low windshield, but the windshield is still semi-functional. It's not completely useless, which is a good thing. It does give you some level of wind protection, which is excellent. So overall, I really think that this is just a fantastic package for the money. Obviously, you've got the 600 CTEC 2 motor under the hood, and you know, in this class, this motor is the second fastest in its class. It has, I think, probably the best overall feel in the class because it just has a raspiness to it that makes it feel fun to ride. It screams up top, it revs out like crazy, it pulls really hard, and because it revs so high, it gives you this like high performance feel every time you squeeze the throttle. Honestly, I just have so much fun riding this sled, and a lot of that is because of the motor. Now, one thing I will say is something we've noticed. This sled handles excellent. And over the course of our testing this year, we've had some Arctic Cat catalysts, most notably some of the 858s, that didn't handle as good as we thought they should. Higher end models with the high end shock packages. This thing handles excellent. I haven't found a situation where it didn't handle the way I wanted it to, which is how last year's 600 handled, in my opinion. So I don't know what kind of voodoo is going on between the 600 and the 858, but if I was to pick one and give it the best handling award for Arctic Cat, it would be the 600, and that's pretty interesting to me. The panels on this vehicle are completely removable with no tools, which is awesome. They come off really easy. This has, of course, Arctic Cat's interesting layback engine design with, it's kind of a reversed around engine with your intake and your exhaust coming out the same side. This is your airbox up here in the hood, and it comes off as well when you remove this top portion up here. There's only one connector, and you can take this whole top portion off, which is great. You can get right into the engine compartment. You can see the spark plugs and get to them easily. You can get to your belt. You can get to everything. That's another thing, actually, now that we talk about it. This sled still has the belt drive, because all Catalysts do. So for an entry-level sled, you're getting a lot of really cool tech going on with this sled. You're getting an extremely lightweight snowmobile. That's one of the things about the Catalyst that's probably the most impressive of all, is the lightweight, and you can feel that immediately when you ride it. So this is just as light, if not potentially even a little bit lighter than, say, a Limited. Certainly one that has the ATAC suspension, this is going to be lighter than that. These shocks are lightweight, and they're no frills, not even any piggyback, so that's going to save weight. The gauge itself is smaller, so it's going to save weight there too. So I would imagine if you put this on a scale, this would be probably one of Arctic Cat's lightest Catalyst models. So that's saying a lot. And maybe that has a lot to do with how the handling feels, because it feels so good. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about this sled. I mean, obviously we've talked a lot about the Catalyst over the past 2024 season, so you know all about it from that perspective. You're going to see a test ride on this sled coming up on SnowTrax, so stay tuned for that. And I'll go into much more detail about the rest of the sled. You're also going to see a shootout between this sled and a Polaris SP650 and Skidoo's Adrenaline MXZ. So all of these sort of entry-level 600 class sleds. It's something you guys asked us for over and over, and it's something we're gonna give you because we were very interested about it as well. And the results are pretty interesting and might surprise you, but for now, that's it. I know I have to start this so you can hear it run. And I usually find that silly because like every 650 Polaris sounds just like a 650 Polaris and it's not that impressive, but I love how this sled sounds, so I don't mind starting up for you and flipping the throttle a few times. I don't know if you can hear that from where you are, but this thing has a little bit of a raspiness to it that just, I don't know, man, it just makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I absolutely love it. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. That does a lot for us. We appreciate that. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel because, as I said, we've got a lot more stuff coming up. We've got a lot more walk-around videos of 2025 sleds that you're going to want to see. And on that note, if you do want to see this stuff, you want to get updated right away, make sure you turn the bell on so you get notifications immediately when we upload new content. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.